What's up, everybody? It's John from Yankees Tribune. So, as most of you guys know, last night the Yankees made a huge trade with the Minnesota Twins. So the Yankees announced on their Twitter last night at 10:52 p.m. Eastern Time. The New York Yankees today announced that they have acquired infielder Josh Donaldson, infielder Isiah Kiner-Falefa, and catcher Ben R. Not too sure how to pronounce his last name. If you guys could let me know. But we got them from the Twins in exchange for catcher Gary Sanchez and infielder Gio Urshela. Now, this came to as a shock to almost everybody. I was hanging out at home, just chilling, and boom, I'm pretty sure it was John Heyman. Gary Sanchez to the Twins. Freaked out, stopped what I was doing, needed to know what was going on. At first, I was very skeptical of the trade. I wasn't too sure how it kind of like fit the team, because obviously, us Yankee fans can be spoiled at times. I wanted Correa or Story, Freeman, Olsen, all the big name guys, but I do think we improved. Now, I'll pull up some stats we'll start off with Josh Donaldson first. So, last year in 2021, Josh Donaldson hit 26 homers, 72 RBIs, hit 240, his slash line was 247, 352, 475, and he actually had an 827 OPS, which is actually not that bad. It's actually pretty good. And his OPS plus was a 127. So he was above average of a hitter, which is, obviously, as everybody knows from last year, the Yankees desperately needed a bat in this lineup. Now, you could say Gio could be better than him defensively now, because Donaldson obviously isn't the fielder he once was. But my thoughts on this whole trade is Donaldson at third base is going to be a better player than Gio will be at shortstop. Because we all knew if we didn't get a shortstop, Gio would be our shortstop for the season. So I do think Donaldson is an upgrade over Gio in comparison of him playing third and Gio playing short. And if we go over to Josh Donaldson's baseball savant page, you could just see his average exit velocity is in the 99th percentile, max exit velocity is in the 93rd, hard hit is 95, his xWOBA is 92. He just hits the ball hard. He's gonna strike out. He's not that fast. We kind of lost some athleticism, but Gio, kind of isn't the fastest either. And in comparison to Gary, who knows what Gary is right now, but I think Donaldson is definitely an upgrade at the position. He's still gonna play some pretty good defense for us. On top of he's just gonna crush the ball, especially Yankee Stadium. Oh my goodness! Last year he had 26 homers, so put him at Yankee Stadium for the full season, especially if he's healthy, because I know injuries were a big part of his. A lot of people talk about his injury history, but if you look at it, in 2021 he played 135 games, which is pretty good. 2020 he was hurt. He only played 28. When 2019 he had 155. So and he finished 11th in MVP that year, with 37 homers, 100 RBIs with the Braves that year. He could definitely still swing it. Defense, I think he'll still be pretty good defensively. I definitely think he's an upgrade. Obviously, everybody knows the beef between him and Cole about the sticky stuff situation and all that. I think they'll put it aside. I think they're both competitors. They're both going to be... I think they're going to get actually close, because I think they're the same mindset. They just want to go out there and win. All right, and next up we have Isiah Kiner-Falefa. So let's go ahead and look at his stats from last year. His slash line was 271, 312, 357, with a 670 OPS and an 85 OPS plus. So he's not going to be the best bat, and we all know that. Personally, I would like to see his on-base percentage kind of go up a little bit more, especially if he's not going to be a big power guy. I would still like for him to get on base, maybe work some more walks. But just look at his stats last year. 25 doubles. He played 158 games, which is great. 2020 he was a Gold Glove Award winner at third base. He did beat Gio for that though. But last year he had 20 stolen bases. So he's bringing some athleticism to the team that we definitely needed. We didn't have enough more athletic players on the team that are going to go ahead and swipe some bags. You can make the case that it was just Howard Wade who was going to go with steal bag. Glaber was trying to steal some bags last year. I think he had 12. I definitely think IKF is going to be good in the bottom of our order. He'll be a solid like 9-hole hitter for us, I think. And then on top of that, he's going to play some great defense up the middle, which is, something we've been lacking for a while. Now, if we go ahead and look at his Baseball Savant page, everything you see here is he's not the greatest hitter. He doesn't hit the ball too hard. He doesn't barrel a lot of stuff up. He strikes out a little bit. He swings and misses a lot. But he does have a pretty good sprint speed. He is athletic, like I said. His outs above average is kind of low, looks like, but we all know he plays great defense. I do think his numbers will be better when he is playing in Yankee Stadium, and I'm desperately hoping something just clicks with Kiner. I think he could be like a DD type player, come in, wasn't perceived to be the greatest hitter, and comes up and have solid seasons. He could be like a Gio who came up, couldn't hit, and then he comes up to the Yankees and he turned into a solid player himself. Somebody like a Mike Talkman. I don't think IKF is going to be as bad as everybody thought. He is better than Andrelton Simmons, in my opinion. I definitely would prefer him over the other stopgaps we were, interested in. Okay, and for the final piece that the Yankees received in the trade, we got Ben R. So it's not really too much to judge off of him. Dude is jacked, by the way. I don't know if you guys see these pictures, but dude is yoked. But in the minor leagues last year, his slash line was 254, 324, 426 with a 750 OPS. He's more of a defensive catcher, I've been hearing. Obviously, the Yankees were talking about how he's a huge upgrade at the catcher position. And as of right now, he's going to be splitting time with Higgy behind the dish. And I actually kind of like it. I mean, we haven't really had a defensive catcher in a while besides Higgy. I mean, Higgy could swing it a little bit, not as good as he did in 2020. But, yeah, but for my man Ben over here, he had a little bit of pop, 5 homers in 34 games in the minor leagues in AAA last year. Then he played 39 games in the big leagues. He only had 98 at-bats. He had 3 homers, 7 RBIs. His slash line wasn't too good. Actually, wasn't really that good at all. 169, 229, 281 for his slash line with a 510 OPS. He's definitely young. That was just his last year was his 23-year-old season, so he will be turning 24 this year. I think he has promise to be a solid backstop for us. Hopefully, we'll see how he works with Cole, especially if he's going to stay on the roster and play in the major leagues this year with us. Because obviously we all know Cole prefers Higgy as his backstop, but we'll see how that goes. But if we go over to his Baseball Savant, there isn't really much there either. But his max exit velocity was in the 80 percentile. It's actually not too slow for a catcher. His sprint speed is in the 43rd percentile. I'm excited to see how he plays in Yankee Stadium. Obviously, lefty bat. He might be able to swing it a little bit, get some balls out of the short porch. Again, Yankee Stadium probably could put up some decent numbers. Now I guess let's go ahead and talk about the pieces the Yankees gave up. We gave up Gary Sanchez, the start of the Baby Bomber era. I'm going to miss him a lot. So in 2021, obviously, Gary hasn't been that great for a couple years now. He's been on the decline, and I guess you really just don't know what you're giving up. I mean, who knows? He could go out and figure it out in Minnesota and hit some nukes over there. But for the most part, 2021, 117 games, and you already know it's a problem when Cole doesn't want to pitch to him, which sucks personally. But if he's not really, especially in the wild card game, he wasn't starting in the wild card game. If he's your best bat at the catcher position and he wasn't playing in the wild card game, there was really no spot for Gary anymore. It was time to move on, in my opinion. I will miss him though. He had 23 bombs last year, 54 RBIs. His slash line was 204, 307, 423, with a 730 OPS. And I believe he was third on the Yankees last year in OPS plus. I believe it was Judge, Stanton, and Gary with a 99 OPS plus, so he was slightly below average. But you're looking at the Twins are going to get a nice little piece right here. I know a lot of reports or Yankee fans saying, "Oh, he's lazy, no effort." Any Twins fans that are watching, I really liked Gary. I think he put in some. I think he put in some work. He definitely put in work, and he was playing harder all the time, and I can't take that away from him. Can't knock him for that. But obviously the numbers don't really help him right now. He was struggling in 2020 desperately. with a 147 average, 253 OBP, 365 slugging, 618 OPS, and a 70 OPS plus. He was really bad in 2020. Granted, there's only 50 games, right around 50 games, but those numbers were not good. He looked lost at the plate that year. Fastballs was going right by him. He was missing fastballs. It was a whole mess for Gary. But if we go ahead and look at his Baseball Savant page, he has some good stats that jump out at you. His max exit velocity is in the 89th percentile. He walks a lot. His barrel percentage is really high. The only thing that does suck with Gary is, like, obviously you look at his framing, it's 17th percentile. He's not a good defensive catcher. I think he's going to be right around the same player Mitch Garver was that they traded away to the Rangers. I don't know if Gary Sanchez actually makes the Twins better. I think he does have a higher ceiling than Mitch Garver does, offensively at least. They are kind of around the same player. But yeah, Gary's going to strike out. He's going to hit some bombs. He's not going to hit for a high average. And he's going to allow some passed balls. And that's some stuff that you're gonna have to take, you know? But his potential to hit 30 home runs a year at the catcher position, you know, there's not many guys in the league right now that are as good, potentially as good as Gary with the bat. Besides, like, Salvador Perez, Yasmani Grandal, some big guys like that. But Gary's right in the mix of one of the best offensive catchers in the league if he could just play a little bit better to his standards that we know he could play at. Okay, and the final piece of the deal that the Yankees gave up was Gio Urshela. He was pretty good last year for us. 2021, in 116 games, his slash line was 267, 301, 419, and then he had a 720 OPS, which is okay, and a 96 OPS plus. So again, slightly under average hitter at the plate. He's going to give you some very good defense at third. I don't think he's going to be playing shortstop with the Twins. And like I said, I think he's a worse shortstop than Donaldson will be at third. So I do think the Yankees won that part of the trade. I would rather Donaldson be my third baseman, then I would rather Gio be the shortstop, if that makes any sense. But Gio's also going to be missed. You know, had that huge clutch grand slam in the wild card series in 2020. He's one of the most likable dudes on the team. I know him and Gleyber got along so well. It's gonna, you know, it hurts. It sucks that we lost Gary and Gio, but we did upgrade. I think we got some good pieces back in return, and I think this does set us up for some pretty big moves coming up. Okay, so one thing about the trade though, so it looks like as of right now, on March 14th at 1:47 p.m. Right now the Yankees infield is gonna be starting from third, going to first. It's Donaldson, IKF, Gleyber, and DJ. And I know the Yankees already said that they don't really want DJ playing the full season at first base. Already with this trade, it looks like Voigt's on his way out. I know last year he already wasn't happy being a bench bat for the team. You know, he had the little comments about him and Rizzo. But I don't see where Voigt's going to fit on the team now, especially that we got two infielders. So DJ doesn't look like he's going to be playing third base for us. Like a lot of people thought, if we got a shortstop, then you could put Gleyber at second and then get the first baseman that you're looking for, whether it would be Freeman, Olsen, Rizzo, or you just keep Voigt. But now Voigt doesn't look like he has a spot on the team. So I'd expect him to get moved at some point before the season starts. And apparently the Yankees are still in on Freeman or Olsen. And I guess Rizzo too. They're looking for a lefty first baseman bat. Now I'm curious how that's going to play out, because if we do make a move for a first baseman, now you're looking at 4 spots with 5 players. I don't see the Yankees trying Gleyber back at shortstop and using IKF to be like a rotational piece. I think he's going to be our shortstop. The only thing that really would make sense to me is if we somehow flip Donaldson, eat most of the money. But I do think this makes Gleyber expendable. I think he might be included in a package to get someone. Maybe it is Olsen. Maybe he is packaged for Olsen. He could probably get a good return for Gleyber. I know his ceiling is, super high. We all thought, He wasn't as good last year in 2020, but I think he still has a lot of potential. Yeah, so that's my thoughts on the trade. If I had to grade it for the Yankees, I'd give it a B plus for now, because I like the trade a lot if it means more moves, like get a first baseman, figure out what we're gonna do now with catcher. Is it gonna be those two guys swapping, or are we gonna go out and make a push for a catcher like a Sean Murphy that it's being rumored around? You could get Olsen, you could get Sean Murphy, you could get a pitcher maybe. It'll be a big give, but I think that's why Glaber could possibly be on the move. That's just my opinion. But yeah, right now it's like a B plus, I'd say, but it has the potential to go to an A trade if everything else works out for us. Get some big pieces. Team will be looking pretty good on opening day. Have a lineup of DJ, Judge, get a first baseman lefty, first baseman hit third, then Stanton, then Donaldson, then Gallo, Glaber, Higgy, and then round it out with Hicks. We still got Hicks. Yeah, I do like to trade a lot. In hindsight, at first I wasn't too sure, but I think it's going to be good for us. I think it'll open up moves to make at first base, could potentially get some more pitching. And once they figure out the catcher situation, I think we'll be looking pretty good. Make sure you guys check us out on Twitter at Yankees Tribune. All of our social medias will be linked down below in the description. Thank you guys for watching. Let's go Yankees.